Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting edition of the Billy Manning channel. And there are a few things that I like more than wrestling. When I can think back to it, I've watched it for a long time. But this week, I've decided to let you guys know that this channel is going to start focusing more on wrestling. And maybe here and there I'll do some Magic the Gathering. Those are my two favorite things right now. So let me give you a review of the 2021 Royal Rumble, and I'll try to be within a week of when a event on the network happens. I'll try to review WWE Network events, and I'll try to be within the week. So look for this every time there's a pay-per-view. Okay, so or like a documentary. We kicked off the night with the kickoff show. You had Charlotte Flair and Asuka defending the WWE Women's Championships against Nia Jax and Shayna. It was a back and forth contest. It looked like Charlotte and Asuka would retain, and then with the distraction of Ric Flair, they lost. So you have the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. I was very surprised to see this on the kickoff show, as all four of these women are so talented, and it's just they're on another level. Shayna is very technical. Nia is just this like really dominant woman. You have Charlotte, who is her accolades speak for themselves, and Asuka, who is really finally getting what she deserves a little bit more. So for a kickoff match, this was very solid. I think the reasoning, of course, was so the four women could rest up for competing in the Royal Rumble later that night. Next up, we had the full show. You had Drew McIntyre defending the WWE Championship against Goldberg. Goldberg comes out, he's always intense, and he goes to that door with the security guards and he walks down to that ring, and it's a sight to see. So Goldberg's in the ring looking really fired up. Drew comes out looking, and they play a video package, which is fantastic. It's not too long, it gives you a little bit of an intro and recap of what's going on. So Drew comes in, he drops the sword in, keeps that look of intensity. Just doesn't drop it. And Goldberg's like, wow, I'm impressed. So the two go back and forth. And before the match even starts, the referee is trying to hand the championship belt over to somebody. And Drew headbutts Goldberg, hits him with the spear, you know, gets him with the Claymore. They're on outside of the ring, and he tries to throw Goldberg into the stairs, and Goldberg reverses. So Drew in the stairs. Drew gets up. Goldberg shows him how to do the spear and spears him through the barricade. Drew's holding his stomach. He's selling like a champ, and I'm sure that hurts because Goldberg can really, when he spears, it's legit. He tackles you. He was a football player. He knows how to tackle. So that's there. So Drew's holding his stomach. Goldberg's and him finally start the match in the ring. They go back and forth. I wrote down this is like letting two bulls out of the chute. They're all fired up and ready to go. Goldberg kicks out of a Claymore, which was impressive in of itself after what had happened on the floor. Drew takes spears, a jackhammer, and he kicks out. So it's like, oh my gosh, what's it going to take? Drew comes back, finally hits the last Claymore, gets the win. The two hug in the ring. Goldberg still looks really good. I like that he didn't win. The right man won, I wrote, because Drew makes some. He makes legitimacy, brings it to the championship by holding it. The guy is on fire and he's motivated. I've never seen him or anybody like that in a while. The guy's on fire. This didn't overstay its welcome. That's why it was such a good match. We knew it probably wasn't going to be lengthy, but it was good. Like I said, you let two beasts beat the hell out of each other for a few minutes, and it's pretty awesome. So Drew retains, and he's heading into WrestleMania season, still as champ. Still some time between then and now to see if Miz cashes in with somebody, but we'll go from there. Next up, Sasha Banks defends the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship against Carmella. Now, they've repackaged Carmella. They've made her more of this sexy kind of woman. And it was funny because Corey's like, "Hey Cole, help me pick my jaw off the floor," because those two are dating in real life, and that was kind of a way for him to say something without acknowledging it too much. This was a great match, and I loved it because there was a part where Carmella goes for the suicide dive and she slides too far and basically lands on her face. Sasha pats her on the back to see if she's responding and ask if she's okay. That's her little way of saying, "Hey, are you all right?" And Sasha catched her as best she could, and she's one of the best as far as working with somebody else and making sure they're all right and everything. And and Sasha's not big or anything, so catching Carmella, because she's strong for her size. Sasha very well is, but she caught her, and to her credit, the match was able to continue. Uh, Carmella did this kick sequence where she kicks her in the leg, drops her, kicks her in the face, 1, 2, kick out, and then Carmella let this scream out. And when they did the replay, you heard the scream again. It was so good. And then Sasha, of course, ends up with the bank statement, gets the tap out victory. I wrote this was a great match. These two women, I mean, Sasha's my favorite on the main roster, so I'm a little biased, but these two tore it down, and they went back and forth for a while, but I really do feel like Sasha Banks did a fantastic job when it comes to defending the championship and showing you what a women's match should look like. Her and Carmella do have pretty good chemistry together after that. Next up was a women's Royal Rumble matchup. Now, this was a very interesting, in a good way. You had a weird combo of superstars in the ring for both the women's and the men's Rumble. So for this, we started off with Bayley and Naomi. Naomi hadn't been around for a bit, so they talked about her returning. Bayley and Naomi start out. It was awesome to see the combo of star power and athleticism. Bayley being the biggest star because of the championship, the 380-day reign, which is not, it doesn't happen very often in the modern era anymore. So Bayley and Naomi started out. I'm like, okay, this is an interesting start with two athletic, talented women. Bianca comes in number 3. Nobody eliminated at this point on. Billie Kay comes out with her headshots, and she has passed them around and everything. You have Shotzi Blackheart comes in, and that was an interesting NXT pick. I was very impressed by her. 6 was Shayna Baszler, former champ there for NXT. Very dominant, very good. They still haven't given her the Raw Women's Championship yet, but hopefully that changes. But she did just become second-time tag team women's champs. Toni Storm hits the ring, and Billie Kay offers her a picture and to team up, but Toni just gives her this weird look. Toni's awesome. She looks like a rock star. Jillian Hall comes out, which that was just such a random surprise. I didn't forget about her, but she's not someone I was thinking of, and I assumed no surprises other than maybe some NXT people because I never want to disappoint myself, and I wasn't. The surprises in this were pretty good. So Jillian's in there. Ruby Riott comes in at 9. Victoria comes in at 10. I was really shocked to see her because of some different things about her in WWE, but she's very talented. I was happy to see her in there. Peyton Royce comes in at 11. Santana Garrett was 12. Surprise from NXT. I hadn't seen her in a while, so it was cool to see her. Liv Morgan, of course, which she's gotten a lot better in the ring. I give her credit for working on that. Rhea Ripley came in at 14, and oh my God, she is amazing and tore down the house like she always does. Charlotte Flair came in at 15. Dana Brooke was out at 16. She's athletic. She showed how good she is in the ring. I think the character development will be the next thing to work on, but I think she has a lot of potential after this. Tori Wilson came out at 17, another surprise return. We've seen her before, but always good to see Tori as she's really athletic, always stays in shape, and is a great wrestler. Lacey Evans at 18, she came out to Ric Flair's music, hit first, then hers, and she was wearing the same robe Charlotte did to get in the head of her. Mickie James at 19, good to see her back. Nikki Cross came out at number 20, good to see her. Alicia Fox At 21, they had a whole thing with her and R-Truth where Alicia Fox became 24/7 champion. Mandy Rose, awesome to see her, very talented. Dakota Kai, my favorite NXT star. I was happy to see her again, but the only thing they didn't let her last too long, like 5 minutes. Carmella came out at 24, another opportunity for her when this late in the draw, even already have competing earlier, still had a shot. Tamina at 25, Lana at 26, and Lana, I like Lana's fire that she brings. Um, she's actually much improved, I think, but there's still work to be done. But it was good to see her. Alexa Bliss, I like what they're doing with her, but I wish that we would have gotten to see her go to the full other side. Because if you're going to do that kind of gimmick, let her do it. 28 was Ember Moon. Good to see her back. 29, Nia Jax. And as previously noted, Natalya was number 30. Now, here was the order of elimination. So Shotzi goes out by Shayna. Jillian was eliminated by Billie Kay, and there weren't any eliminations. I remember Victoria being in the ring. Um, I believe Shotzi went out earlier, but Victoria Peyton came out, and it was either Peyton or Santana Garrett at that point. Jillian was eliminated, so you had about 11 in the ring at one point. Toni Storm was eliminated Billie Kay was eliminated by Liv and Ruby Riott. So Jillian and Billie had teamed with Ruby, but then when Liv showed up, they decided to forget it and they eliminated Billie Kay. Toni Storm was eliminated by Rhea Ripley. That was her first elimination. Victoria by Shayna. That was her second. Santana Garrett by Ripley. That was two. So Shayna and Ripley are going back and forth. Ruby Riott was eliminated by Bayley. That was her first. Liv Morgan by Peyton Royce. That was her first. Dana Brooke went out by Rhea Ripley. And that was a brutal. That was a power bomb on the apron. That had to hurt. I actually felt bad for her there. Peyton Royce by Charlotte. That was her first elimination. Tori Wilson by Shayna. That was her third. So at this point, Ripley and Shayna are tied at 3 eliminations apiece. Bayley was eliminated by Bianca. That was Bianca's first, and she was out there number 3, and Bayley was out there number 1, and Naomi was out there number 2. Alicia Fox eliminated by Mandy Rose after winning the 24/7 championship. Mickie James by Lacey Evans, that was her first elimination. Dakota Kai by Rhea Ripley, that was her 4th elimination. Mandy Rose by Ripley, that was her 5th. So at this point, she's leading. Nikki Cross by Carmella, her first. Carmella eliminated herself, so I didn't give anyone credit for that one. Alexa, maybe to the ring. The ring gets its first. Alexa Bliss by Rhea Ripley. That was her 6th, and that was right before as she was transforming. She got tossed out really quick. The women didn't wait to see, and that was smart. Lacey by Shayna, that was 4. Ember Moon by Nia Jax, that was 1. Naomi by Nia, her 2nd, and Shayna, her 5th, so you had to give credit to both. Tamina by Nia and Shayna, so Nia's at 3, Shayna's at 6, so her and Ripley are tied, Ripley having the solo eliminations. Shayna was eliminated by Nia, so her teammate turned on her. Nia Jax was eliminated by Lana. She got the momentum and got her over. Lana by Natalya. That was Natalya's first. Natalya by Bianca. That was Bianca's second. So we're down to Charlotte Flair, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Pretty exciting final 3. Next, Charlotte goes out by Ripley, her 7th, and Bianca, her 3rd. So Ripley's at the leader of this with 7 so far, and Bianca's at 3. We come down to Ripley and Bianca. They go over the top. They hit the apron. Looked like they were going to repeat the ending of the first Rumble with Asuka and Nikki Bella, but Ripley says get back in the ring. They do. Bianca Belair gets the win. And I cannot tell you how awesome it was to see someone as talented as her and someone who's worked so hard for it and go through a lot after watching the documentary. Win the Rumble. Bianca Belair is going to WrestleMania. I wrote down 2 times. Charlotte Flair lasted 33 minutes and 35 seconds for number 15 position. Naomi, 47 minutes and 47 minutes, 43 seconds. It was a damn good Rumble. The record now belongs to Bianca Belair, who lasted 56 minutes and 49 seconds. Okay, so next up, we had the last man standing match. Roman Reigns defending the Universal Championship against Kevin Owens. This was a really good match. The only thing I wrote here was the golf cart thing, kind of overdone, but they did it kind of safe to where Owens jumped up and went through the window part. The good use, okay, I made a note here. Good use of arena fight. When there's no fans in attendance live, you can do the arena fight because when fans pay to see an event and the wrestlers are all over the arena, they're watching from monitors. So I wrote, if you're going to do it, this is the time to do it. So good use of the arena. They did a great job here when no fans are present. Brutal match. At one point, Owens had a forklift. He had Roman on this like crash pad sort of thing, but it was covered so you couldn't see what it really was. And Owens does a senton off of a raised pallet off of the forklift through the crash pad. That has to hurt from that height. And with Owens being as awesome as he is and his landing, that was great. I wrote this was a war. Roman at one point pulled out handcuffs. However, he ends up getting handcuffed to the beam. Referee's counting Roman down. It's at 9. Roman throws the referee into something that was steel made, breaks the count, and then Paul Heyman gets him unhandcuffed. Roman wins. One thing I want to say here, we knew Roman was going to win, but they took us on a journey. I will say this about Kevin Owens, though. I have not seen too many people with the kind of energy and passion he brings to the character. So I hope that he continues to be used like this. I would like to see him get some more championships under his belt because the guy is too good not to. Great match. Next up, we had the main event, which was the men's Royal Rumble matchup. So we knew before, but they've reversed it. Orton and Edge were supposed to be 1 and 2. They went Edge as number 1, Orton as number 2. So they start off the match. And Orton at one point gets his leg injured and goes backstage, and we don't see him for a while. And I was hoping that he wasn't going to come back and win, but I predicted he was going to come back. So Edge and Orton start out. They beat the hell out of each other before the match even gets started. Orton is on the ramp. Edge comes up, beats the hell out of him. So that's how this thing gets going. They get in the ring and start fighting. And number 3, Sami Zayn comes out, and he was talking about conspiracy theories against him. So kind of interesting dynamic. You had Zayn and Orton teaming up against Edge. Mustafa Ali, they brought his first name back, thankfully, comes out to the ring, and Ali, Zayn, and Orton are teaming on Edge. Well, then at number 5, Jeff Hardy comes out, and Edge gets a little bit of help, but he's worn down, so Jeff's getting the help beat out of him a little bit. Ziggler comes out at 6. Nakamura was at 7, former Rumble winner. Very talented. Orton and Edge, also former Rumble winners. We already have 3 Rumble winners have entered at this point. Carlito at number 8, and he looked in very good shape. Good to see him back, as always. Xavier Woods at number 9. Big E comes out at number 10. So both members of the New Day that are in this Rumble, as Kofi has not been cleared to compete, but we saw him earlier in the night. So we had those 2 men enter, and Big E's been on a tear lately. New music, I'm liking it. John Morrison at 11, always good to see him. Ricochet at 12. Elias at 13. So I'm right. This is kind of like a weird combo of people. I even put it during the women's. It was like a punk rock start. But it was a weird combo of people, but still good, athletic, deserving wrestlers. 14 was Damian Priest from NXT. What a surprise. What a good talent from NXT. This guy looks like a future champ. The Miz at 15, so we're halfway through the field. A Money in the Bank winner. He destroys the stain, like the DJ area for Bad Bunny. 16 is Riddle, and at one point Bunny comes out, does a crossbody on Miz and Morrison after they're eliminated. Daniel Bryan is 17. The fans get excited. Number 18 is Kane, the most Royal Rumble appearances, the most eliminations. Kane adds to that total, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. King Corbin at 19. Otis at 20. 21, Dominic Mysterio making his Rumble debut. Really good to see him in there. Bobby Lashley at 22, another dominant strongman. 23, the Hurricane. Good to see him back. But he needs to quit doing the same thing every time. It's not working for you, buddy. Christian at 24, I was surprised and happy to see him. He can still go. AJ Styles at 25, good to see him in there. With the Omos, which we'll get into that. I don't like outside interference in Rumble matches. I like just to watch the Rumble. Rey Mysterio at 26, Sheamus at 27, so back-to-back entries of former Rumble winners. 28, Cesaro, and he's been on a tear lately, so he was one of the dark horse people that I really like. 29, Seth Rollins. 30 is Braun Strowman. Of note, missing Keith Lee, Aleister Black, two of the big ones I noticed. So elimination order. Jeff Hardy goes out first by Dolph Ziggler. That's Ziggler's first elimination. Zayn by Xavier and Big E. That's their first. Woods by Ali. That's his first. Ali by Big E, his second. Carlito goes out by Elias. That's his first. Elias by Priest. That's his first. Miz by Priest. And Morrison by Priest at the same time with a double clothesline. That's second and third. Ziggler by Kane. Ricochet by Kane. That's Kane's first and second, back to back, respectively. Kane eliminated by Priest. That's his fourth. It was cool to see those two big men tear it up. Priest being the future, but Kane looked pretty good here. Nakamura by Corbin. That's his first. Otis by Corbin. And I got mixed up and forgot that I'd written it down. So later I thought I missed it, but I didn't. So that was Corbin's second. Corbin by Dominic Mysterio. That's his first. Cool to see that in his first Rumble. And many more for him. He's very talented, and they need to figure out his character a little better, but I like him in the ring. He can tell a good story. He can sell. I think he has a natural knack for this business. Dominic by Lashley, his first. Priest by Lashley, his second. Hurricane by Lashley and Big E as he went for a double choke slam. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because it's the Hurricane. Both their third. I just wrote down the three. Lashley by a multitude of wrestlers. I think I might have missed somebody, but I believe it was Lashley by Daniel Bryan, his first, Matt Riddle, his first, Christian, his first, and Big E, his fourth. Big E by Omos, not in the Rumble, so I didn't give credit to him. Mysterio by Omos, not in the match. Cesaro, okay, number 30 hits the ring at this point, Braun. Cesaro by Braun, his first. Sheamus by Braun, his second. Styles by Braun, his third. So most eliminations were tied between Priest and Big E at 4 apiece. Daniel Bryan by Seth Rollins. This was unpopular, but it was late in the match, and there weren't live fans, but I was hoping to see Bryan win, but it was good to see him make it so long. Matt Riddle by Rollins, his second. Christian by Rollins, his third. Strowman by Rollins, his fourth. Rollins and Edge only two in the ring. Edge throws out Rollins, his first? No. Was it? Let me look here, back on my records. Might have been. Unless he was involved with Lashley, I think it was his first. And then Orton sneaks back in, like I called, but Edge gets him out of the ring and wins the Royal Rumble matchup. So the winner is Edge, going on to WrestleMania. He lasted 58 minutes from the number one position. So they had both early entries win the match, with women's and men's respectively. This was a very solid Royal Rumble event, and I feel like WWE showed what it can do best, and that is the pay-per-views. I just wish they put the same energy into some of the weekly programming, but I do believe this was a very good Royal Rumble. Every match on the card was solid. It didn't overstay its welcome, and even with only on the show, with having they broke it up separately and new back-to-back Rumble matches, which would be kind of weird. But they did the Drew Goldberg WWE Championship match. You had Sasha and Carmella, Women's Royal Rumble, a break with the Last Man Standing, and then the Men's Rumble. And so every match was good. None of the matches overstayed their welcome, in my opinion. They told the stories they needed to tell. They told good ones. So this was a very solid pay-per-view event or network event, whatever you want to call it. And for having no fans in attendance and only on the screens, this was great. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's like with a live audience again. But I think I picked Bianca Belair to win the Women's Royal Rumble. For the men's, I did pick Daniel Bryan. I'm not disappointed that Brian lost. I am more excited for this story that could potentially be told with Edge's comeback and possibly a championship run. So yeah, another solid event in the books. Royal Rumble, one of the better ones they've had. So this was a solid show. You had Bianca Belair have her breakout night, which was highly deserved. Drew keeps the championship, heading to Mania with a lot of steam. It's going to take someone tough to beat him. Sasha, deserving victory, but Carmella showed how great she really is with this new persona. Um, Bianca, like I said, she got her moment, well earned. Roman and Kevin Owens had a great last man standing, one of the better ones I've seen in a while. And then the men's rumble, Edge got a shiny moment. So yeah, that's all I have for you guys. Like I said, there will be some videos that are more action figure based. There'll be some videos that are more, and I do have a collection of figures. I'll show you some here and there when I feel like it. A lot of them are open from when I was younger, and admittedly a little bit older. And a lot of them are from when well, not a lot, but some of them have been kept in the package. And from now on, I will keep them in the package. But I will be doing figure reviews at times and also Magic the Gathering. So that's all I have today. Take care, guys.